point to the logo on my chest and tell them, Slam me, ego, slam me, ego, slam me, ego, slam me, hey. Hit it up hard, hit him with a strike. From the national anthem to the bottom of the night. Amen. Slam me, ego, slam me, ego, slam me, ego, slam me, hey. You already know what's up. What's that? Another home run. We should know the job ain't done till we hold that trophy up. Hey.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Talking Friars here on this Sunday afternoon. The Padres, they split the 4-game set with the Cardinals, dropped the first two, but win the second two, the last two. And finally, they're going to be back home to face off against the Mets coming up Monday through Wednesday, and then day off on deadline day, which is what I like. It's weird on deadline day when you've got teams playing because there's always the watch in the dugout of, is this guy saying his goodbyes? Is he hugging his teammates? Guys are trying to get prepared for a game, but they could get traded. You could be playing down players because you trade people an hour before the game starts, and you're kind of screwed there. So I do enjoy that, all the focus on Thursday can just be on what moves they possibly make, not on a game that's happening that we're sort of watching, sort of not. We're just checking Twitter, So there's that. This series with the Cardinals, just, my schedule and it being with the difference, the time difference, the changes, wasn't able to be like super locked in as much as I would, want to on this road trip. And this series kind of in general, but I have you guys obviously to rely on. If you want to join the show, I think I have the link up already in the chat. If I don't, let me send it right now. I just put it into the chat. So if you want to join the show, you have any thoughts, what the Padres should do at the deadline, thoughts on this series, the state of this team, you can feel free to join the show there. Let me pin it up. I started, so I don't know if you can see that on your side of things, but there's that. But yeah, overall, these last couple of games obviously were more fun to be paying attention to. A 9-2 win today. Manny with 4 hits and him going oppo multiple times, and Bogey had a homer late in this game when it was already over. But just seeing these big guys come in and contribute, that's obviously great. Manny, when he's on, one of the best players in baseball, MVP candidate, no doubt about that. Best third baseman in baseball, in my opinion, when he's on. And he just continues to be huge for this team. His average is now at 300. He's got an 866 OPS. And, Gavin Sheets, that was a good story. And I'm not saying it can't be a good story and continue to be a good story. But recently, he hasn't been the same Gavin Sheets. He hasn't been as holy Sheets as he was earlier in the season. I can look at his splits right now, actually. Let's see. Out of the All-Star break, very small sample size, I get it, but hitting 114 in those 9 games. In the month of July, 20 games, I think. Yeah. 20 games, hitting 197. Average isn't everything, but you can just go look at the averages in June at 257. May was 275. They were just better. OPS, everything was better than what it has been. Now, Gavin Sheets has also been having to play the field more often, and there's obviously attention when you're not a left fielder, more attention that you got to be paying, with your work before the game and trying to get better there. But my point, going back to Manny, is there are guys that have been good stories, but haven't been able to do it the entire season. You need those big guys, the guys that you're paying a lot of money to. You need those guys to come up and perform. And Manny is one of those guys that has done that this season, and he's probably fighting through injuries. He's not going to say it, but it's a long season. I know they just had the break, but this guy's playing every day. Has he had a day off this season? He's played in how many games here? 106 games, and today's game was 106. He has not missed a game. So he is playing through something. He has to be. And that's what makes him valuable is there's guys, I mean, we saw it a couple years back when he hurt his ankle in Colorado and guys would be out for months. He was out for a couple weeks, maybe less than a few weeks. The guy is just different. And you can, other fans love to hate on Manny and they love to make fun of his ears. And I laughed at some of them, no doubt. Like, I'm not going to lie. Some Dodger fans, like, it was funny. His comments yesterday with John Jay and all that. By the way, that beef, I need to know more about that beef. Like, because they were boys from Miami, all that, and don't know what happened. You had Yonder tweeting the rat on Twitter, so we'll see we'll see if we can. I doubt it, but that would be great to see like actually what went on there. But anyway, what was I saying? Manny, and just the importance of his production, because as much as you want to rely on some other guys, baseball's a hard game, and you got to have those consistent players, though. And so other fan bases, they're going to hate on Manny. They may hate on him for some stuff that he does, and they just want to look for any opportunity to try to hate on the guy. But that's more jealousy than like actual valid hating Manny, in my opinion. I think these fan bases would love to have Manny on their team. They're just trying to take any shot that they can because he's not on their team. You think Dodger fans wouldn't love to have Manny on their team? Of course they would. You think other fan bases wouldn't love to have Manny Machado on their team? The guy's a future Hall of Famer. So any of that criticism that you see, it's people that are jealous that he's not on their team and people that are probably just trying to have some fun, which that's what social media can be about. Don't take things too seriously there. So let's get to the fans, though, that were probably more locked in. Again, it was just my schedule. More locked into this series, this road trip, than I was. Let's go to Ditto first, and then I'll get to Diego here. I see both of them in here. Let's get to Ditto. I see you on the screen. One sec. Let me try to fix this layout. Well, okay, go ahead. Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you. Okay. I'll try you after I go to Diego. Because I don't want to have Diego waiting here if there's audio issues. Diego,
thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yes, gotcha. All right.
Okay, cool, man. So basically the road trip. Let's just talk about the road trip outside the gate. I mean, last season it was like what, a 8-2 out the gate. This season it was about a 5-5, but we're still at a better start than we were last year in the second half and the whole season overall. I thought we really should have taken 2 or 3 from Miami because that's not a team that we should be losing a series to. But I mean, that's baseball. I kind of feel like when we split with St. Louis, it should have been 3 or 4 because 3 out of 4 is like a sweep, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Splitting a series is kind of just a draw. I don't know. That's just my thinking. I could be wrong. In terms of like the offense, I don't know why it took the 10th game into the second half just to score more than 5 runs. Or I'm sorry, we did score 7 runs on Friday, or Thursday. But I'm saying at least like win by 7, or at least win by more than 2, so that Robert Suarez isn't sitting there like, okay, I got to come in and save everything. He shouldn't have to do that. I'm sure you and I could agree with that. But it's just, and then the other thing is like I like how Bogarts has just been performing. His contract is going to be his contract. He could hit 40 home runs a year, and it still will look like a bad contract in a sense, But I like how he's been producing left and right. He can't do it all. Like if he grounds into a double play, okay, true, but we haven't. But I mean, it's not like he can't do it all the time. And whenever you're in the middle of the lineup, you're always going to ground into double plays because you're going to have runners on. But anyway, that's besides the point. But I will say that I think it was kind of an okay road trip, but I'm still low-key disappointed the fact that we should have really gone 7-3 at least. I mean, your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Like the Miami series, yeah, losing that's definitely disappointing. I know that like Alcantara came up big, right? Um, that's not who he's been a majority of this season, but of
Right.
course he does. Edward Cabrera, he's probably more appealing to teams than Alcantara right now. Like he's just super nasty. So I understand some of the pitching matchups there, but I also don't want to get into the habit of being like, tip your cap to these pitchers, tough pitchers that you're facing. You're going to be doing that in the postseason. Like we want to go long here,
Mhm.
make these long runs. You're going to be facing tough guys, so you got to find a way. They beat Zach Wheeler, right? Merrill homered a couple times.
Was there?
You're gonna have to find a way to do that. So yeah, the Miami series that was disappointing, and then this series was like such a that's baseball. I mean, you score 7 runs when this team has had trouble scoring runs. You lose that game. You go 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position yesterday, I think, win that game. It's just, it's weird. It's some of these games the Padres have played this year. It's like, you give me something, you don't give me the score, you give me, the 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position, or you give me, they scored 7 runs. And I would guess the opposite of what actually happened in terms of like, did they win? Did they lose? So it's really about like when you have the opportunity and one side of the ball did their job, you got to
Right.
have that other side be able to go do it. Because that's how you're going to cash those wins in if you keep giving up these wins. Now, what's good about this though, if we can expand to like the wild card picture, is that the D-backs, they're sellers already. And then you have the Cardinals who I think if they would have took all 4 games, then we're talking about something different. But I think the Padres really here taking these last 2 Cardinals, they're a game over 500. So I think here, yeah, they're 3.5 back. What do the Cardinals really think that they are? Do they think that they can contend with these, actual contending teams in the National League? Or did they, get a little bit lucky by Darvish just not having a good night at all when the Padres scored 7 runs on them and they still, won that game? The Reds, sure, they're a game back. Like they could contend, they could add a strong bat. The Giants, they're there as well. But like my point is, to me, that's 3 teams fighting for that. Well, no, it'd be because right now it's Cubs, Brewers. No, because the Brewers they have the division technically on MLB.com on the standings.
Yeah.
Cubs, Phillies, Padres, and then after that, Reds, Giants. After that, I don't count the Cardinals because I feel like they're not going to be like these big buyers. Although it is John Mozeliak's last season running things, but to me, it's just like it's 3 teams: Reds, Giants, us, fighting for that last spot. And of those 3 teams, I mean, I think we clearly have the highest upside among those 3 teams.
Also, to add on that, but you have to also we forget is that like if you look at the St. Louis Cardinals attendance, it's pretty low. So obviously,
Yeah.
whereas the fans don't have a lot of faith, so why would anyone else would? Compared to us, like our fan base, it's Thursday afternoon, we got 38,000, even a sellout.
Yeah.
So or Wednesday afternoon. Sorry, we don't have Thursday afternoon games yet. I haven't seen one since opening day, but in a sense, like we I mean, our fan base has the faith. I mean, the question is, do they? And then, of course, the fans are probably just like, you kind of feed off the fans. And if that's what the Cardinals organization feels, they might be like, well, if the fans don't feel it, why should we? Why don't we just tank this year? But at the same time, if other teams start losing, like us, hopefully not, and then they start winning, it's kind of like that 1995 Seattle Mariners thing where, oh, we can come back in a sense,
Yeah.
But I also feel, I don't really consider St. Louis. They have like what? I mean, it's like Arenado and Mason Wynn, and I don't see much out of them. Wilson, oh, sorry, is it Wilson Contreras or William
Yeah,
Contreras?
Wilson. Yeah,
Wilson. Okay, Wilson with 2 L's. Yeah. I mean, I just don't see it with them. But I mean, I don't want to say that, and then all of a sudden they overtake our position in the playoffs, if that makes sense. So, but I do feel that. I still feel that after today's win, even though it was just 1 out of the 5, should be 7 wins on this road trip. I still think that that's a good start to go back home because the Mets are struggling. St. Louis, we already have a feel of how they are. They don't play well at Petco Park for some reason, at least in the last 5 years. I think they've been traumatized from the 2020 playoffs, but I don't think St. Louis has taken the series from us since 2017. I think in Petco Park at least. But I mean, you may have that number before I do. I just remember we would obliterate them in 19 and 20, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. But I do feel that I don't know if the Mets are about to play right now, but I do feel that we could at least take 4 of 6, 5 of 6 this homestand, and at least keep winning 2 of 3s, and then keep that offense that we had today, and just keep it going for the most part through the next 2 months. Because if we're sitting there slumping for the last 2 months, then I'm guessing we're gonna take it out on the teams the next 2 months, if that makes sense. So, but other than that, Ben, that's all I have for you, my friend. Thank you for having me on again.
No, thank you, Diego. You're welcome anytime. Appreciate it. Yeah, like, and another point I would make to that, but we're talking about the schedule is, and I apologize, I don't remember where I heard this, but I thought I heard someone say recently on probably one of the radio shows that this Padres team has like the 4th easiest schedule remaining in baseball, but the Dodgers have a pretty easy schedule remaining as well. So it's not like, oh, maybe the Padres can gain a bunch of ground because they have a really easy schedule. The Dodgers have a hard schedule. The Dodgers also, they've gotten some guys back. I'm not saying that we should, get our hopes up about the division. I'm certainly not. I think maybe we get our hopes up if they play better when they go head to head with the Dodgers. But right now, I'm just not even at that point. They just got to play better against them. But yeah, like overall, take advantage, obviously, of these bad teams. Again, that Marlins series did hurt. I do think it's only fair though to mention that St. Louis series that looked like hell to play in. I mean, those guys early in the game, they're already sweating through those jerseys. I don't know how many jerseys they went through, but uh, they have at least 2 in their locker. Like they really were sweating through those jerseys. So they're human beings. Probably tough. Schilt talked about it post game. How the mental toughness of this group. That's what like these postseason teams. You see that those tough teams. Obviously hope that they get there, but there's still work to be done. It's not like they're easily in a playoff spot. You'd like them to be that 4 seed, but as things are trending, they'd be that 6 seed. They're 3.5 back of the Phillies, and like the Phillies, they're 60 and 45, and they're in the second wild card spot. They're having a good season. And by the way, the Mets are 61 and 44. Like they're right there. So the race there for wild cards and divisions pretty close. At least in the Central with the Cubs and the Brewers, and then in the East with the Mets and the Phillies. But yeah, you look at these other teams. Obviously, the Rockies got garbage. Nationals, garbage. Pirates, garbage. Braves, 44 and 60. The Marlins, obviously going to be selling off pieces. Will they sell off Kyle Stowers? I think that's a question. D-backs, 51 and 55. They already started selling off. They traded Randall Grichuk to the Royals. They traded Josh Naylor to Seattle. So we'll see. The Cardinals, I just don't think it would be smart for them to, try to go all in here with this team that they've got. They don't have enough. Giants, you can make an argument. The Reds, I'm not going to act like I watch a lot of Reds baseball, so I can't speak to that as well. But just where they are at record wise, I think if you add probably a power bat in there, that could make a really big difference. Probably I know they have Abbott. I think he was an all-star. Probably another big starting pitcher via trade. Maybe that would make an impact to get them into the postseason. Obviously, a market like Cincinnati getting into the postseason is a huge deal for them. So maybe that's just the motivation right there to get back to the postseason, which would be for the first time since, if I'm not counting 2020, when was the last time they made the postseason? Like the Cueto years? Let me see. Cincinnati Reds. Uh, 2013. Yeah, because if I'm not counting like they went 31 and 29 in that season that they made the playoffs with Bauer, and they lost that wild card series to Atlanta, I think, 2-0. Last time was Cueto, 2013, wild card. Dusty Baker is the manager. He had Votto in, I think, his prime. So it's been a while. Padres' motivation, though, is not just to make the postseason. That's not good enough. Let's bring Ditto in here. Hopefully, I can hear him now. Go for it, man. Let's see if I can hear you.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
There you go. Gotcha.
Okay. Well, I was going to talk about the series that we just went through, but
Yeah.
Diego about how like we should have, could have, would have won those games.
Yeah.
But
Your audio cut out. Oh, now it says you're muted.
I said like what would be the best trade deadline deals for us?
Okay, there you go. Yep, I got you.
I unplugged my headphones.
No, you're good. As for like specific players, for me, it's more like I can tell you who I wouldn't be in love with than who would be great fits. Like AJ, the ones that he's going to go after. Now, sometimes, excuse me, sometimes there's been like Juan Soto where we heard a bunch about and they acquired him. But then there's other guys where I wasn't hearing about Jason Adam. They acquire him. Wasn't hearing about those guys, those type of guys, and they end up being huge. So for me, it's more like which guys are in the rumors, and then is it a yay or a nay? And for me, Jaron Duran, that's a yes for like long term. This year, I don't know if that's the bet. You probably want more of the power bat, but if you can get him now, and he can help you in years down the road, then I think that's a yes. I think someone though like a Steven Kwan, I'd lean more towards no, at least for this year's team. I just, if this is the only time you can get him, I guess like he's, back-to-back All-Star, the gloves there obviously can be top of the order bat, but I feel like you need that power bat, and that's not who Steven Kwan is. The catching position, I'd love them to, go get someone like Higgy, although the Rangers are right there in the postseason race, or go get some other offensive catching upgrade. But I think he's saying it without saying it literally when he's talking to the media about how much he values the catchers and their defense and the game calling and the success of the pitching staff and the bullpen in particular. Like, it's not just the pitchers that you credit that to. Like, the catchers deserve credit as well. And that's a valid point. But if you want the most well-rounded team, like we're always trying, as fans, we always want this team to try to get better. And there's got to be better offensive options out there than what they've got going on right now.
Yeah.
If they go get a power bat and it's not the catching position, but they upgrade the offense, well, then I'll be more fine with it.
Like Marcell Ozuna, or
I mean, I can say yes to like players like that would upgrade an offense, but I also need to be realistic. And the Padres, they're not trying to add salary. If they're going to add a salary like that, then they're going to be trading Suarez, or they're going to be trading Cease. They're going to be subtracting to add the salary, so they're not really adding salary, if that makes sense. So, yeah, for me, it's more like players I can tell you no than players that I'm like, yeah, go get that guy. I could point to the Marlins outfielder. Why am I forgetting his name? Stowers.
Kyle
Stowers. Yeah. Like San Diego kid. Like, I'm biased towards those guys. I really, I thought that was going to be a great story with Trenton Brooks and the homer they hit at Dodger Stadium when he, was just called up and all that. Hasn't worked out.
And then
him being the I forget the exact words that Schilt used, but like his like special weapon off the bench. Like, come on, when the guy's hitting under 200 and that's your special weapon off the bench, I think you can use an upgrade. So it's not just a power bat. That's kind of my point, is probably multiple. Try to improve this bench, and maybe improve the bench by sending a starter onto the bench, and you go acquire, a starting caliber player. But yeah, like the Trent Brooks thing's not working out. Clearly, they don't trust Campy. They're not giving him opportunities to even just be a DH, let's say, at the big league level. So they're going to have to go find that somewhere else. They could try, I think, Jonathan Perlaza from El Paso, but I feel like they would have tried that already. So, yeah, I'm looking at the external options for sure. Probably guys that are free agents at the end of the year.
Okay, because for left fielder, I was thinking Luis Robert would be great. What do you think of Luis Robert?
That would be another one where the Padres would be subtracting salary somewhere, I would think. because he already is signed under that extension, I want to say. And last time I checked, he's not even having that great of a season.
Oh, he's been heating up recently, though.
Okay. So let me look at that.
Yeah, I've seen like several articles saying that.
Because he has dealt with injury issues, obviously. Overall, he's got a .6 WAR this year. He's hitting .206. But what is he doing recently? Because, like, I saw the report about Charlie Morton and the Padres being interested there. And you look at the overall numbers, and it's not great, but supposedly he's doing better as of late. I mean, if we're talking literally as of late, so like the last 5 games, okay, he's hitting .444.
See?
He had, let's see, 1 hit, 1 hit, 2 hits, 2 hits. So, like, he's having some good games there, but those opponents are the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Tampa Bay Rays. I think if you're the Padres, you got to look at the bigger sample size. With the pitcher, maybe they tweak something, and maybe they dropped a pitch. They'd know more than us, obviously. With hitters, sure they could have tweaked something, but I feel like really, like, this is who you are. Let's look at the bigger sample size of how you have performed this year. But yeah, since the All-Star break, that's that 5-game split, and this is entering today, where he has the OPS over 1,000 and all that. I think the question more like there, even though there's not a lot of time, but is this really who this guy is? And I feel like the White Sox would be trying to get a lot for Luis Robert Jr. And if you're the Padres, would you rather do that with Robert Jr. or with like someone like Jarren Duran? And for me, I think there's less of a risk with Duran than Robert, even though Robert could give you more power. I'm picking Duran in that situation.
The thing is, like, we already made such a huge offer for Duran, and they immediately said no.
Yeah, well, tell me more about that, because I've tried to read reports. I've seen people talk about that, but maybe I'm just not seeing where that was said, that the Padres did offer that, and the Red Sox said no.
It was Dylan Cease, Ethan Salas, and then another highly rated prospect, not DeFries though, for Duran. It was Friday morning, or like 8 a.m. ish here time, and they like immediately said no.
And that's like, where do you remember like where you saw it or who put it out?
I saw it like all over the internet, on Instagram, Twitter, etc. I even saw like Red Sox fans be in shambles because like they rejected.
They want to take that deal.
Yeah, they rejected such a big deal.
Yeah, because if you're the Red Sox, I know Salas doesn't look as appealing as he did before he got hurt.
But he has like such a promising future. Yeah,
exactly. Like, if you're the Red Sox, you traded Mookie Betts, and the catcher you got back was Connor Wong. Like, you could get a way higher ceiling guy in Ethan Salas. And will it take years and years for him to reach the big leagues? Yeah, but you can take that. You have the opportunity to give the offer to Dylan Cease to keep him long term, exclusive negotiating rights for the rest of the season. Like, that's got to count for something. And then whatever other prospect it would be, like, for Jarren Duran, what other team out there? I don't know, maybe the Mariners. What other team out there is going to give you a better offer for Jarren Duran, who's someone that it feels like the Red Sox are trying to get rid of?
That could have been an inverse Mookie for them.
Yeah. Like, is this, they're trying to see what this Red Sox team will be this year, so they're going to wait, and Duran can help them make the postseason, and then in the offseason, they'll take care of it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're a Red Sox fan, Roman Anthony came up, and you're thinking, okay, Duran's probably going to get moved. We can get something back to improve the team more. And if a team's offering me, the top catching prospect, and they're offering Dylan Cease with money that, like, Padres, not the Padres, the Red Sox, they have money to spend. So, like, that would be appealing to me to, at least try that with Dylan Cease. But yeah, I guess Craig Breslow is not budging. Maybe this is something where he's just, seeing if the Padres will add more to it, and then he'll accept it, on Wednesday or something before the deadline, which is Thursday.
I would
But
hope so. I mean,
it's all this could all just be part of the negotiation.
yeah, I would assume. I also heard like maybe a 3-team deal could be a possibility with us, Red Sox, and Marlins, or Red Sox get Edward Cabrera, we get Duran, and then Marlins get, I think, the Red Sox top 8 prospect, and then we also give Salas to them.
I'm reading this right now because I tried to look up that report. Sean McAdam, who covers the Red Sox, it
Okay.
says the Padres, in their never-ending quest to acquire Duran, proposed a package including Dylan Cease, Ethan Salas, and another prospect, not DeVry,
Yeah.
or Duran, which was quickly rejected. So that's pretty
Yeah.
much what you just said.
Yeah.
Let's see. So quickly turning it down, to me, that's like they're just trying to get more out of AJ.
Yeah, they're trying to milk as much for Durant. Yeah.
Yeah, like to me, the way that report is, I doubt that the Red Sox just hung up on AJ, or if it was a text, I doubt that they like didn't respond or they sent a laughing emoji. Like there's conversation happening there. I doubt that they just shut the Padres out. But yeah, for the Padres, for that to be an offer, that's not an embarrassing offer. That's not an offer where you're like, Padres, why are you wasting your time with the Red Sox trying to make that offer? That's a fine offer, I think. Do you want to add more if you're the Red Sox? Yeah, because you're trying to get the best return, and you know that the deadline isn't till Thursday. You have time, and you can use that offer with other teams. Like that's part of this negotiating thing here. So it could totally just be that.
Okay. So would you make that offer? Dylan Cease, Salas, and they didn't really say who the third guy was, but would you make that offer for Duran, or do you think it's overpay?
It's probably an overpay, but I'd still like to say yes and yes to those. Where like, yeah, overpay. I don't want to give up Salas, like just because he's hurt and just because what is he like 19? Like it's a
Yeah.
catcher. It's a catcher. He's going to take time to develop here. I know everyone in this world wants everything to happen now, but sometimes it just takes time, and you've got to be patient with it. Um, I'd like to have a great catcher, for a decade with the Padres and not have to worry about the catching position and not have to be like, well, let's just stick him ninth in the order. That would be great. But it's also like, well, Salas, he's a prospect. So I'd still lean towards yes. Like, CeCe's not coming back. I'm totally fine with him not being on the team. I don't trust him in big games. And with Salas, it's a wild card. Could totally work out. And we could look like idiots. But you take that risk. Like, Jaron Duran can help this team win games, not just this season, but long term. Does he give
Yeah.
much power wise? No. But I compare him to Jackson Merrill in terms of like mentality wise and the love of the game and all that. Like from what I've seen from the Red Sox documentaries and all that, like the interviews that he's done, it's someone that you want in that clubhouse. So I would probably say yes to that, but realize that yeah, it's probably a little bit of an overpay. But it's not. I don't sense Duran as like an Austin Nola, where Austin Nola, like that was a short period of time that AJ was like, yeah, let's go get this guy. Duran, it's been a little bit more, and he can give you more than just the bat.
Yeah, he's got pretty good defense too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be fine with that trade offer if we can get another catcher and another pitcher to fill in the void of Dylan Cease and the future at the catcher position.
Yeah. Uh, it's tough because if you're the Padres, you want to add salary at the deadline with a starting pitcher that's controllable when you maybe are going to try to bring Michael King back. With Cease, like I'm like, yeah, he's gone. With King, I feel like the Padres, sure, there's injury questions there, but I feel like the Padres want to have Michael King back.
Yeah, we
It doesn't
do.
seem like they want to have Dylan Cease back. And I'm not speaking for those in the clubhouse and people that know him and, teammates and anything like that. But like front office, like if Dylan Cease, this stuff's getting leaked, there's a reason why. There's someone that's leaking it. Like that's something that I feel like fans need to ask. And of course, people just react to what they see and like, ooh, Dylan Cease could be moved. But ask why. Why is this out there? The Padres probably could have, probably did. Someone put it out there and said 6 teams. Someone said that the other day, one of the reporters, that 6 teams were in on Dylan Cease. Why is that out there? Do the teams that are one team that's talking to AJ, do they know that there's 5 other teams that are interested? Were they told that by AJ? If you're AJ, why would you say that? You would just say, we're getting interest from other teams. You're not going to say how many. You're going to say the least amount as possible because you want to try to get the most out of them. So there's a reason why it's out there. With Michael King, I do remember like beginning of the season, right before the season, they found a way to make that happen, right? Created an option for next year, lowered the salary, I think, for what he was making this year.
I would
So
assume he takes it.
he wants to be here.
That's what
you're gonna
I'm
have to
saying.
pay him, but maybe you don't have to pay him as much because of what happened this year injury wise.
Yeah, because
that's also a risk.
I don't really think his market would be super high.
I think his market would be high. With the age, and he doesn't have a ton of innings because he wasn't a starting pitcher all this time with the Yankees. I think that he would actually cost a good amount. But Haas is finally coming off the books. You're not going to have the Cease contract. You might not have a rise. Like there's money that is freeing up here that you could use, for a potential Michael King deal. Oh, I think you disconnected.
I said like
you got me?
Cronenworth to get more prospects back.
Yeah. What I would say there, well, I feel like with Crony, you're gonna have to attach stuff to that and not just be Crony. A rise, maybe it's 1 year, whatever. Crony's the long-term deal. Teams can make the argument, it's kind of tough for us to be taking on this contract. You got to add some stuff. So you might have to be losing more if you're attaching Crony, but then you're gaining flexibility. So with all of these things, there's a plus minus here. There's good, but then there's a negative to it. And Padres got to pick which one that they'd rather have.
Okay. Just checking news on my phone. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Boston unlikely to move Jarren Duran despite heavy interest from Padres. Okay, not surprised. Oh. There's an article saying what San Diego would want in a Dylan Cease trade. Let's see.
You'd want someone that would be more consistent. Maybe you can't get a pitcher back, but maybe you could get, something offensively.
They're saying, okay, teams that they could trade him to would be like New York Mets or Yankees.
I could see that because if you're a team acquiring Dylan Cease,
it's because
not
you want
just
to go
for this year.
Series.
Like you're gonna think about, can I extend Dylan Cease, right? Like with the Juan Soto stuff, the Yankees, they weren't going to extend Soto, but like there was the opportunity to sell him on the Yankees and bring him back in free agency. Didn't happen. Mets, blew him out of the water with the money, and there was that. But to me, I think he would, if he's going to get traded, he's not going to the, let's see, what's the Brewers, let's say. He's not going to a team like that. They're not going to go sign him to a big deal. He would go to a team that, could do that. So that also lessens the teams, I think.
Okay. So I see this article from clutchpoints.com saying what Mets Padres trade would be for Dylan Cease. Mets received Dylan Cease. Padres received shortstop / outfielder Jet Williams, right-hand pitcher Jonah Tong, outfielder Drew Gilbert, catcher Kevin Parada, and right-hand pitcher Don Hamill. This package is the kind of offer that could move the needle for a team aiming to thread the needle between contending now and preparing for the future. Yeah.
I'm not even like familiar with, I know Jet Williams. I'm not even familiar with those names. So like, I guess they'd have to sell me better on how that helps this year's team. Like it creates flexibility, and you could make another move somewhere else, but
Yeah, you get a good
you're not
outfielder.
getting much. To me, that doesn't look like
lot
you're
of
getting much.
prospects.
You're not getting much there to help now.
Yeah, true. I mean, it does refill the farm system. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like they could buy and sell. They could do that, and then they go. So you're helping your farm system, but
And then
then
trade for a
for the
pitcher.
deadline, you also go get someone to improve this year's team. They
Like,
could totally do that too.
do you think Sandy Alcantara would be a good pitcher for this team?
I think I'd be excited because there's the upside there. The guy's won a Cy Young. Like it's there. We just saw
Yeah,
him
especially
dominate the
with a guy
Padres.
like Nebula, he can definitely turn back the clock on him.
Yeah, like this isn't a 40-year-old Rich Hill we're talking about. Like this guy, you put him with Ruben, like, yeah, I'm gonna trust that. So of course. What would they have to give up? That's obviously the key question there. But yeah, they get Sandy Alcantara, like San Diego's gonna be buzzing if that happens. I know it's not the Cy Young year of Sandy Alcantara, but like
We can
he
definitely
can do
turn back the clock.
yeah, he can do it for sure.
And then for catcher, I was thinking Shea Langler from the Athletics, and then
Yeah.
I was also hearing about Corey Lee from Chicago White Sox.
He's a minor league catcher who's
Yeah.
from San Diego, I think. So that's, I mean, what, trade Campy and then have Corey Lee be in El Paso? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
That to me doesn't sound like that's not a move you make to replace Maldonado. If you're going to go get Corey Lee, it doesn't look like he's this offense first catcher. So, and I don't think Schultz wants an offense first catcher because that means that the defense isn't that good. He prioritizes the defense over the offense. Like, no doubt about that.
Do you think Shea from not the Orioles, the Athletics would be a realistic trade?
Shea
target?
Langeliers, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the A's, so like, yeah, it's going to be realistic because they'll trade anyone except like Brent Rooker, it seems like. But I feel like I don't even know what his contract looks like. I know he has a few more years left on it because he's only been in the big leagues for a few years. Would that improve the offense? Yes,
Definitely, yeah.
like that's an above average hitter. I'd be up for it. I feel like that's more of an off-season move though. The Padres, I'm gonna keep saying it, like they don't want to mess with this. They really don't. If they're gonna mess with something, it's gonna be a position player. It's not gonna. I'd be surprised at this point. I've been advocating for the catching position to get an upgrade. I know there's been a lot of fans advocating for that. I just don't see it happening. I just don't.
Think we're gonna even attempt for a catcher?
They could attempt, but are they gonna? There's a difference between attempting and like actually attempting, if that makes sense. Like at any cost, we'll go get it. Not any cost, but like we're determined to go get a catcher, or we're just checking in, see which catchers are available, see what it would take. Just because like it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to ask, but that doesn't mean that they're determined to go get a catcher. I think that's what this is. Is like maybe you'll get a report out there that they're interested in someone, they're checking around, but they're not like making that their top priority. Their top priority is going to be probably getting more arms, another starting pitcher,
pitching and left
and
field.
then getting bats, multiple bats.
Yeah, we definitely need a lot of depth for our dugout. Yeah.
Yeah. That bench not good enough.
Yeah. Also, I heard. I think his name is Adley Rutschman from
Yeah.
the Orioles. He's a catcher for them.
Yeah, but
that was a possibility.
Well, that's crazy because like last year he was helping the Orioles like have a really good regular season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, Adley Rutschman, he's going to be like this young Yadier Molina, and he's going to, be this franchise catcher for the Orioles. The Orioles better extend him now, and he's going to get this huge contract. So for him, I have not heard Adley being mentioned at all, and I don't think the Orioles will trade him. I think that's kind of funny if you're that would be dumb if you're the Orioles to give up on a guy like that. Um, but yeah, I totally welcome that. Like that's yeah, yeah. Thank you, of course. But no, that's not going to happen.
Okay, so like what position would you prioritize getting at the deadline?
I don't even really care if it's a left fielder. I care more, is it a power bat? Because if you're
Power
sticking
bat.
Gavin Sheets out there in left field, will he make an error? Will he hurt you? He could, but we're good in right
Yeah,
field.
he
We're
has
good in
pretty
center
bad
field with the defense. He's improved defensively in left field too. So to me, I'm like, take that risk and you go improve the lineup because you're going to face great pitching every game in the postseason. It's going to happen. If it's not the starting pitcher, you're going to face great arms in the bullpen. So you're going to need that bat more than you're going to need someone that actually plays left field and is a great defensive left fielder.
Okay.
David Peralta, I think he's still on his couch. I'd be open to giving him a minor league deal and be
Yeah, I was
like, hey,
wondering why we didn't
man,
resign.
we will put you on our bench. Come sign with us, and maybe you'll play your way into the lineup. I think they kind of like Bryce Johnson with what he can bring with the speed, and maybe he
Yeah,
takes
pinch
Tyler
runner.
Wade's spot on a postseason roster because of his speed. But yeah, I haven't seen David Peralta sign with anyone, and he could just be waiting till after the deadline and be like, no one gave me an offer I wanted. No one gave me a guaranteed starting spot, or at least a contender didn't. So now I'll go sign with a contender. I'm familiar with the Padres. Maybe I'll go sign with them after the deadline once I see what their roster looks like. And if I see I can actually be on a postseason roster with them, you know,
I could see that happening.
because like a month or two into the season, once he hadn't signed, I'm like, okay, it's probably bad teams that are interested, or the Padres have shown interest. I guarantee you they showed interest, but it was a minor league deal. And he's probably
Okay.
like, I'll just wait. Things could happen. What if another team comes in, there's an injury, and I could go sign with that contending team and play and get $1 million? Why would I sign with the Padres on a minor league deal? But if
Okay.
that never came, then I could totally see it. I could totally see that. I'm not, getting my hopes up about that, but it's still in the. I mean, I just mentioned it here. It's clearly in my head still. It's clearly in the back of my head still that he's out there. And I don't think it would be the worst thing. It's a lefty bat as well.
Okay. Yeah,
especially if
I
they,
agree.
especially if they can't trade for someone. If they find like that's too much, you don't have to trade for David Peralta.
Yeah, I would say my priorities are getting a power bat, like you said, and then another starting pitcher, assuming we actually do trade Cease, and then catcher.
Yeah,
Because, like you said, catcher's not exactly the easiest position to get right now.
right. Yeah. All right, Ditto. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah.
I got to go here in a little bit, so I just want to get to the chat and then I'll end
Okay.
the show.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, for sure,
You're
man.
welcome on any time, man. Thank you.
Definitely. Thanks.
All right. Speaking of the great partners of the show, we got Gaglione Bros, famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries. Their main location is on Friars Road. You can check them out there. Their full expanded menu is there. And if you want the condensed version, but it's still really good, the garlic fries, the cheesesteak fries, the cheese fries, it's at Petco Park. It's inside Snapdragon Stadium. They've got 2 locations at Petco Park, one down the third baseline, one in the upper deck, and then at Snapdragon Stadium on the east side of the stadium. The first level, and you'll see it there. So I definitely recommend that to you. Pretty good price as well for stadium food. Breaking Tea, they've got Padres and Aztec shirts and sweatshirts. Click the link in the description there. A lot of great player graphic tees: Tatis, Merrill, Darvish, Musgrove, Manny, Gavin Sheet, like a lot of guys. So definitely recommend that you check them out if you have not. And if you're looking to go to one of the Mets games or one of the Cardinals games coming up in this homestand, use SeatGeek, code Talking Friars. If you have not signed up yet, sign up, use that code when you first sign up, and you will be able to get a discount there from SeatGeek. Trying to help you out there. You will get $20 off your first order when you sign up with your email. Again, use that code Talking Friars. All right, let's get to the chat here before ending the show. I appreciate those that came on, Ditto and Diego. Let's see what you guys have to say. EB says, all these YouTube Padre podcast clowns always talk about the fans' vibes and energy, and it's laughable. because Padre owners are not going to spend on this team and they just refuse to listen. All right. So I'm guessing this is a Dodger fan. The fans. So I'm a clown and I talk about the fans' vibes and energy. Is it wrong? We don't show up for our team. I don't really understand that point there. Sorry. But thanks for tuning in. Irie says, I think Fernando is trying to stay healthy and play a complete season for once, but he needs to find the perfect balance in performing, and he could be really special. I mean, yeah, I think he wouldn't use, like, I'm trying to stay healthy as an excuse. I don't think that would be that at all. Dang, we got some wild comments in here. I think you got to trade Tatis. All right, dude. He's got a no trade clause. Let's start there. He's one of the best players in baseball. Padres should have waited until the end of this season to offer Jackson Merrill to offer Jackson Merrill a contract. They wouldn't have offered those years if they saw him the whole year. Well, come on. Last year was really good. And they even, because I do think he'll bounce back next year. Let's say this year's this year, whatever. Next year, he's not going to have this year again. It's still going to be a underpay, I feel like, with this contract. So I disagree with that. And he's all in on this team. Team player, wants to win. He could have held out, but he didn't. Yeah, like $15 million a year on that Merrill contract. It's not bad. I agree, Brandon. Diego says, I have a feeling Garcia, Robert, Duran, or Ward will be a Padre before next week. Yeah, Taylor Ward, that's another name. I've seen it been mentioned by Padres fans, but I haven't seen it connected recently by like those that cover the team. But the Angels, yeah, they're like Ron Washington. I think he had a health issue, so he's not even with the team. I think he's out the rest of the year. So who knows what his situation is going to be. Right now, the Angels, they're 5 games back of a playoff spot. Like, they're sellers. It was a good story. You know, I love seeing Mike Trout when he's healthy, but, always rooting for him. But, yeah, it's another year that it's not going to end up in a postseason spot for them. So it could be like, yeah, let's trade Taylor Ward. If I had to, like, give you an answer, do the Padres trade for Jarren Duran? I would lean towards no. I think they don't acquire a catcher. I could see them signing David Peralta, though, after the trade deadline. I see them acquiring a starting pitcher. I see them acquiring multiple bats. And they're bats that we're probably not talking about, that haven't been leaked out there. There's a reason why there are batters that get leaked out there. It's not just for fan entertainment. There's a reason why these clubs do it. Just saying. All right. So, Padres, they took 2 out of 4 in this series. I gave my reaction to yesterday's game already in that video and podcast that I did yesterday. Sorry about my voice. It's a good time to end it, obviously. We got the Mets coming in because of them being back at Petco and starting at 6:40 most games now. I should be able to do more frequent reactions here. So thank you for those that have bared with me with the schedule and all that. But yeah, fun week, trade deadline week. Expect the rumors to be aplenty. Will the Padres make moves, tomorrow? Will they make moves, though, right before the deadline? Is that when it'll have to get done? The Padres, in years past, it's been a combination of moves. There have been some that have happened on deadline day. There have been some that have happened a day before deadline day. And you got the Padres broadcast talking about it the night before deadline day. And, you already have the excitement there that you've made additions, the direction the team's going. And then it's just like, all right, what else can we get on deadline day? And then sometimes it's, what are we doing? I think we know the direction we're going, but they haven't actually done anything. What is that going to be? It's going to be multiple moves, though. I'd be surprised if it's not. But thank you all for the time. Much appreciated. Have a great night.